us in this room, right? We need to be more diverse. We need to be bringing more youngsters into aviation. And unless the Department for Transport is going to invent teleportation, which, although we have a couple of secret projects, I can tell you we're nowhere near as yet, we are going to have to get people around. And when people travel, in particular over longer distances and internationally, aviation is the only way to do that. There is no plan B. There's no other way to do it. So we've got to do a couple of things, I think. First of all, we've got to make sure that we're bringing the next generation into this. It's something that we're really passionate about. I've been passionate about as Secretary of State. I don't know if you saw it on the front cover of Flyer magazine I see today, but those grobs that have been brought back into service, these grobs were going to be scrapped actually through a crazy paperwork problem. And that's a piece of work that started with the All-Party Parliamentary Group on General Aviation. It's carried on whilst I've been in DFT. And the purpose is to get younger people, and because some of these have gone via the charity Airability, people with disabilities, people with more diverse backgrounds, into aviation. So that's the first whole side of things, is attracting the next generations. It's great to walk out there and see some of the kids here, who surely there'll be somebody here today who'll look up to the sky and think, this is what I want to do. I want to go into aviation. A girl who wants to become a pilot, a guy who wants to become an engineer, whatever it is. I think that's really important. And then the second thing for the future of this great sector, worth £4 billion, general aviation, in value added to the British economy, is exactly what you were just talking about as I walked in the room. Which is to green the whole thing up. We have to have it sustainable. If we're going to have people flying around the world, then they're going to need to be able to do that without damaging the world in the process. This is the thing, folks. Where's that going to start? It will start where all invention starts. Small, at the grassroots, with people who are tinkering with it in their garages or their hangars, and particularly through organisations like the LAA, who represent a lot of the people who have the most innovative ideas and are able to deploy some of the most interesting technology because the way that it is licensed and approached is so much more flexible. And so I passionately believe, and I have this argument in government all the time, that if we are going to ensure that the UK can help lead the way to this new greener aviation, then we've got to back the engineers, the scientists, the inventors, the enthusiasts at the grassroots of aviation. And that means that we need airfields for people to be able to fly from, otherwise that won't be possible either. And look, there's a perfectly proper tussle all the time between how we use a limited amount of resource, which is the amount of space that we have in this country, to best effect. But I have been housing minister in the past, and I understand we absolutely need to build homes. But homes can effectively be built in almost any location. The thing about an airfield is they were nearly all built during the war, most in the second, some in the first, and we will never get them back when they go. They go for good. But so we've got to make them commercially sustainable, and we've got to make them the future of green aviation that can help to lead and design the kinds of aircraft that will be able to fly internationally and be able to ensure that we're able to, as human beings, still connect and meet up. Which all may sound very lofty for probably for a sort of weekend that you've come here to enjoy looking around some of these tremendous LAA aircraft. But I just wanted to sort of make the point that there is a big, I think, wider principle behind why the government's so keen to support general aviation. And we've done a bunch of different things to try to assist. It goes without saying that things like the pandemic, things like the Brexit and the disruption that those things cause, all require working through, and I'm forever working with the CAA to try to speed things up. For example, I know they've just employed some additional people. There they are now, the CAA, in the line. I know they've just employed some additional people to get through some of these licensing problems for people who've been converting between different EASA licenses and the like. And we'll get there with that. But most of all, well, now he's left the room, I can talk about him. Anyway, is that the time? most of all, I just want to say a big thank you to the LAA. I really consider you guys to be the sort of cutting edge of general aviation. The fact that you can innovate, the fact that you can go into, look in an LAA aircraft and can have the most modern equipment you've ever seen, because you've got the capacity, the ability to essentially license that. But alternatively, you also look after the really old stuff. The warbirds and the like. I think I saw like a miniature Matchbox Messerschmitt as I was taxiing in just now, and that comes under your authorisation as well is really tremendous. And whenever I'm in government more broadly, pointing to an organisation that takes the responsibility of having to effectively authorise and look after an area of policy, even beyond aviation, but do so under the auspices of authority handed to it by the CAA. I look to the LAA. I think you do a terrific job. I really do. Quite rightly, I think you have the largest membership of any of the general aviation organisations. Goodness knows there are many different organisations in general aviation. I don't know if it's like 7,000 or am I
7,800.
Yeah, 7,800. I'm not just making up your membership figures, which is incredibly impressive. And I imagine that many of you here are part of the LAA directly, or either that, or you've just come along for a great day, which I very much hope you have. Yeah, someone sit down, exactly.